Section 2, the Profession of the Christian Faith, the Creeds, paragraph 185. Whoever says, I believe, is saying, I pledge myself to what we believe. Communion in faith needs a common language of faith, normative for all and uniting all in the same confession of faith. Paragraph 186. From the beginning, the Apostolic Church expressed and handed on her faith in brief formulae for all. But already early on, the Church also wanted to gather the essential elements of its faith into organic and articulated summaries intended especially for candidates for baptism. The synthesis of faith was not made to accord with human opinions, but rather what was of the greatest importance was gathered from all the Scriptures, so as to represent the one teaching of the faith in its entirety. And just as the mustard seed contains a great number of branches in a tiny grain, so too this summary of faith encompassed in a few words the whole knowledge of true religion contained in the Old and New Testaments. Paragraph 187. Such syntheses are called professions of faith, since they summarize the faith that Christians profess. They are called creeds on account of what is usually their first word in Latin, credo, or I believe. They are also called symbols of faith. Paragraph 188. The Greek word symbolon meant half of a broken object. For example, a seal presented as a token of recognition. The broken parts were placed together to verify the bearer's identity. The symbol of faith, then, is a sign of recognition and communion between believers. Symbolon also means a gathering, collection, or summary. A symbolon of faith is a summary of the principal truths of the faith, and therefore serves as the first and fundamental point of reference for catechesis. Paragraph 189. The first profession of faith is made during baptism. The symbol of faith is first and foremost the baptismal creed. Since baptism is given in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, the truths of faith professed during baptism are articulated in terms of their reference to the three persons of the Holy Trinity. Paragraph 190. And so therefore the creed is divided into three parts. The first part speaks of the first divine person and the wonderful work of creation. The next speaks of the second divine person and the mystery of his redemption of men. The final part speaks of the third divine person, the origin and source of our sanctification. These are the three chapters of our baptismal seal. Paragraph 191. These three parts are distinct, although connected with one another. According to a comparison often used by the Fathers, we call them articles. Indeed, just as in our bodily members, there are certain articulations which distinguish and separate them, so too in this profession of faith, the name articles has justly and rightly been given to the truths, so that we may believe particularly and distinctly. In accordance with an ancient tradition, already attested to by St. Ambrose, it is also customary to reckon the articles of the creed as 12, thus symbolizing the fullness of the apostolic faith by the number of the apostles. Paragraph 192. Through the centuries, many professions or symbols of faith have been articulated in response to the need of the different eras. The creeds of the different apostolic and ancient churches, i.e. the Athanasian Creed, the professions of faith of certain councils, such as Toledo, Lateran, Lyons, Trent, or the symbols of certain popes, the Fides Damasi, or the Credo of the People of God of Paul IV.